Welcome to the first best of 5 of the evening. We're on one of the new maps for this season of StarCraft, Odyssey, the Leather Edition, and spawning to the top left-hand corner in pink. Playing random but spawning as Zerk. We have 14 Red Bloods, Lady Azylis. And to the bottom right, in yellow, playing Zerk as her main race. For EESC and Spain, it's Sitaska. So new maps, always exciting, always fun to get a good view of the new features that we have. Pretty standard plateau for the main, a little bit larger here, so lots of space in order to throw down production structures if need be. Not so much for Zerk, but maybe for all the other races, but not awfully big. And then we have the little ramp down here. Then we have quite a wide open entrance with a lot of space in front. And then we have a quick accessible base down here that can be blocked with rocks. And then we have another base over here, the more likely base, I'd say, to take on this half of the map. And the same, of course, to the other way around. And then I think from, well, you can actually fairly easily take this third. And then that base over here, but it has less mineral patches, if I see that correctly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 only. And only one guy is here. Oh no, there's a second one, never mind. So maybe I'm just looking at it the wrong way. But it seems as if there's just a little bit more minerals over here. But yeah, there's a quick way to take the fourth over here as well. But from then on, the base is actually spread out quite widely. But yeah, I think from a position from around here, you should be able to easily defend that base over here and there as well. So some macro games should be playable on this map, I think. So we have quick metabolic boost and the first few links for Sitaska already. Seems as if she wants to put some early pressure on her opponent, who is fairly unsuspecting at that point in time, only sending the first Overlord across the map. Lady Azylis, our random player for this evening. So, Sitaska just massing links and getting some more queens. Seems as if she really wants to get the aggression on. No Baneling nest yet, so maybe she just wants to get... Oh, never mind, there it is. So, Baneling nest also in production with a good timing. She might actually be able to get something done. Is now tries to hide most of her links. There's this one Overlord over here. So right now, Lady Azylis is not really aware of how many links there actually are. She will see the first, and she uses the TB announcer. She will be able to see all of these links moving out, and now actually, if she's paying attention to the minimap, she should see all of these yellow dots over here and maybe react quite quickly. Wants to transition straight into a Roach Warren, or maybe even block all of this with the first few drones. Sees now that a lot of links are headed to Ray, and tries to block this entrance completely using buildings here, and will then try to defend with queens only. Yeah, puts the queen into the gap so that the links won't get through immediately. Think a spine crawler might actually also be a good idea, because defending this with only queens might actually prove to be a bit difficult. But we see it's not that many links. They don't have the possibility to... Oh, and actually it's not close. Oh, very unfortunate there for Lady Azylis. She unfortunately left a little gap over here. Thought it was a tight wall, but it wasn't. And now a lot of links actually stream in. Killing the first queen will probably even get a lot of these drones. In addition to that, also killing the second queen as well. So many drones are already dying. There's no more defenses whatsoever. The first few roaches are in production, but 14 more links on the way for Sitaska, and now even morphing a few of these banelings, links into banelings here. Unfortunately, just hitting this wall here. Now it's a tight wall, it seems. So these banelings wanted to get through, but they couldn't quite do it. But still, I mean, the hatch has fallen. Sitaska is now on 2 bases. She could easily evacuate at any point in time and drone up like crazy. The supplies talking a clear language, a clear... it's pretty clear as well. So even getting 7 more workers at that point. So Azylis is down to 13 while her opponent is on 23. Now working on the wall, tearing down the Roach Warren, which actually means it's only Lings and Banelings anymore. After these 4 roaches here. Okay, the spine crawler helping her out a little bit to stay alive for now, it seems. And maybe even these roaches and the few links will survive eventually. So luckily these roaches should actually be able to eventually drive everything away, but the damage has already been dealt. I think from here on out, if Sitaska does not overcommit, and maybe I think she really wants to get back now and starts droning behind it. I mean, this is of course always the very, very problematic part of playing a ZvZ, realizing when it's time to back the hell up and just start using your advantage from then on out. Azylis realizes she cannot just sit back at home trying to retake her natural base, because that would just put her so far behind, because she would never be able to catch up with Sitaska's 2 bases early on. So she just walks for a counterattack, tries to deal as much damage as possible. More links for Sitaska running across the map, but she realizes the army of Azylis is coming and will knock on her door in just a few seconds, tries to get the mainlings to detonate into the Zerglings here, and then to just protect her front with spines and a queen and a lot of lings here. But yeah, the lings should actually get a good surround. Lady Azylis has to be really careful here. I mean, Sitaska also does not really want to waste all of her lings to all of these roaches here, but if she gets a good surround with a lot of lings, she should be able to take this out eventually. But of course, the way more problematic part for Lady Azylis would have been to just engage this wall with the lings surrounding from behind. That would have been just deadly anyways. So yeah, now Sitaska just clears up the only standing force that Lady Azylis had. In the meantime, Azylis just trying to desperately get out 5 more roaches. The wall again is not closed. I repeat, the wall is open. And there the Link Streamin will probably kill this base once more, but first of all she wants to take care of that pesky roach warren here. Roaches come out, Sitaska retreats for now, realizing that she does not have to commit right here until the banelings arrive, and now it's a lot of banelings plus zerglings here. Roaches will probably just put themselves into the gap. Unfortunately not quite, a little bit of miss micro there by Lady Azylis here. Now retreats into the gap, and this will be a cost-efficient fight for Lady Azylis. Question is, will it be cost-efficient enough? Banelings just get these buildings to explode. Now the rest of the units moves in. Nice Ravager Morph here will make that unit heal up completely in no time. Sitaska eventually gets in, is still producing more and more links, sending them across the map. It will be difficult for Azylis to defend at all fronts with only 4 to 5 units that are fairly slow. Now taking out the injured evolution chamber over here. One more building! Just barely doesn't get it in the bank, but will probably just send in... No, okay, never mind. Retreats for now, builds a few more banelings just in case her opponent wants to come across the map once more. But yeah, it's still looking fantastic for Sitaska here. 25 to 12 workers. Sitaska has not transitioned into a lair yet. I think she really wants to do that. Azylis already has, but never had the resources or time in order to make good use of it. Actually would like to get the roach speed upgrade, I bet, but we'll probably be able to do that. So finally the other evolution chamber folds as well, and now again the front door is wide open. Banelings moving forward will try to connect with these lings and a few of these roaches, and then the rest of the lings can just surround the rest of the army. Oh, unfortunately again Lady Azylis moves away from the safe position at the edge of the map. And now the roaches just get surrounded by all of these lings. The banelings run inside, get another 7 workers over here, and that's GG. Sitaska takes the first game. Welcome to Ascension to Ayur, the letter edition map for this season. Another new one, spawning to the bottom right hand corner in pink. Playing random, spawning as Protoss, is Lady Azylis. And to the top left, in yellow, we have our Zerg, Sitaska. Sending across her Overlord. And again, we have a new map, so let's analyze this map just a little bit. Actually looking quite similar in various aspects to Odyssey, I think it was the name of the last map. We have the natural, then we have a little bit way towards, then we have a base down here, and we have another base down here. There are no rocks and there's no ramp, so that's the only difference actually. But from the layout, this is looking pretty similar. And then to the right, if it actually comes to a 5th and 6th base, then the map changes significantly. But every other way, it actually looks quite a lot like Odyssey anyways. But it's green. And I like this tile set, I have to say. Especially like this big, huge ass crystal in the middle of the map. It looks fantastic. And 2 watchtowers over here and over there. Reminds me of some good old 4v4 maps, I think, where there also was a map with a really big plateau in the middle of the map. And if you wanted to attack the opponent's bases, then you just had to walk across that plateau, getting all these fancy little watchtowers. So let's have a look. Azylis going for the fast expand, trying to wall off another fairly big entrance with no ramp towards her natural base. So like I said, Odyssey and Ascension to Ayua, fairly similar. In the meantime, we have the spawning pool almost done for Sitaska right after the hatch first. We'll probably get early speed once more, but I don't know if she knew, but Azylis is now playing her main race, or her former main race, before she switched to Zerg and then to Random. She was a Diamond 3 Protoss, and participated in Season 1 and partly in Season 2 of the FSL. So let's see what Sitaska can throw against Azylis' main race. First few links are out, maybe only scouting links, actually producing a few more links. Usually if you only want to scout and not be aggressive with your links, you only produce 4, like getting 1 at the watchtower, the other one at the other watchtower, and then just send 2 across the map, 1 maybe to get the first scout in, and then the other one to passively check for your opponent's army moving out, or you can just actively check the front a little bit later on, so that's what you usually want to do with your first 4 links. Okay, the Overlord is out, but will get sniped down by the Stalker here, so unfortunately for Sitaska, these are going to be 100 lost minerals, and she will not get any important information whatsoever, because most of the important tech is down here. But the links will get it. Actually, get in, will snipe the, or will try to snipe the bottom, but the Mothership Core is in place. Photon Overcharge at least baited out, so that's 50 less energy on this Mothership Core. And now we'll even get 1 probe, not another one, but at least getting 1 good kill is actually quite nicely. Now speed is through, and we have 2 more Zerglings at the front trying to tear down the Cybernetics Core. Azylis closes the gap, and these Lings will just die in vain. Not quite, but mostly. In the meantime, taking a 3rd base right behind it, while Azylis goes straight for the Immortal build, and is pulling a full Koshki once more. Since it's a very powerful push, we'll go for Warp Prism, Immortal, and then either Speedlot or Adepts. But we will need a Twilight Council for this. And here it comes. And of course, after that, DTs. Or Archons, if the opponent has an Observer or an Overseer in play. Something for detection, anyways. So, Sitaska in the meantime has her 3rd base up, has not saturated it yet, but is, well, looking kinda okay. Actually, spend a lot of money and resources and lava on all of these Zerglings that will probably not really do much. I mean, she has an Overlord in position, but she does not have an Evo Chamber yet, so it's not a drop play of any sorts, or if it is, it will be very delayed and will probably not deal the damage. And there we see that's not going to be Adepts, but in fact Speedlots. So, Speedlot Warp Prism Immortal with a DT follow-up. Like I said, the typical push she's learned from Koshki mostly, and have a look at that. Do you see that on the minimap? My god, is this beautiful! See all these Lings spreading out everywhere over the map. I'd really love to go back in the replay. I think I will do that after the match. Remind me to do so. This was looking so beautifully on the map as all the Lings spread out to all of these bases. Look at that map vision. Holy mother of whatever. This is just amazing. I love this move. This is just fantastic. Looking so great. Like I said, I will return to this part of the game and will show it to you a little bit later on. What was that? Around 5:30. Have to really think about that. So Dark Shrine is incoming, and the gateways are also incoming. So this is quite a good timing here, and a very potentially game-ending push here. So unloads, but everything is in place. Sitaska should have actually seen the push incoming from far, far away. So first units getting warped in. We have 2 Immortals, we have a few Speedlots, we have few more Speedlots morphing in. Dark Shrine is almost done. And now she will move into the 3rd base. There are not too many units protecting this. We only have Zerglings. And as we all know, Zerglings not that great against Zealots. Of course, they could have just surrounded this one here. Queens are in position, now everything is coming closer. The Warp Prism is fairly far away, she could actually move that in a little bit closer, but of course that way it will be pretty problematic for Sitaska to actually get the Warp Prism sniped down. She has some Hydras in the making, 7 more Hydras being made, but there are the Dark Templars. We don't have any sort of detection down here, so the Dark Templars will just cut through everything here fairly easily. Immortals also dishing out their damage. There's no way for Sitaska to actually hold this 3rd base. She will have to evacuate it and give it up. I think the best thing would be to abandon it right now and not even trying to defend it, since she will only use small chunks of units she might actually be able to use later on. 60 more links and 3 Hydras in production. 3 more Hydras coming down trying to take out that Immortal, but will get taken down instead. This one Immortal just gets taken out by the Broodlings here, so that's at least one good catch, but it was very cost inefficient there. So let's see if she can actually do more. More Dark Templars being morphed in. There's still no mobile detection whatsoever. I mean, most of these GT actually getting morphed into Archons. I think Lady Azylis actually thought that she would probably have to face detection by Sitaska, but now she couldn't really know that she wouldn't have it. But yeah, that was of course the big snipe there. The Hydra is actually getting the Warp Prism there, which actually delayed this push for quite a bit here, and now Sitaska might actually stabilize. A little bit unfortunate there for Lady Azylis. Had she just stayed on DTs, there would have been nothing that Sitaska could have done at that point in time. Seems that Sitaska still has not produced a single Overseer. I don't know if she's actually realized that she was fighting against DTs, because there's just nothing. I mean, there's Lady Azylis just sending in units from the front, from her own front, from the own entrance, from her own bases, because she just has to wait until the Warp Prism pops for the second push. But of course, I mean, this push is still kinda dangerous, but not as nearly as dangerous as it has been at that point in time when she had the Dark Templars over here. So, taking out the Lonely Archons over here. Ooh, that's a very serious loss there for Lady Azylis. Just forgot about these 2 Archons here losing a lot of resources for free, essentially. Now she has to break down that warp gate in order for units to get in. I don't actually know if that is the best move. I think she would be best off to attack as soon as possible once more, and there she goes. Don't really know why she actually broke down this warp gate here. Maybe she wants to expand behind it, but that's really the... I mean, yeah, she took out that 3rd base over here. Maybe she's thinking that she will be able to defend the first push of Sitaska and then maybe go into a longer game after that. But I think her best chance would actually to just go full all in from this point out, because her opponent just has had her 3rd base for quite some time now. Well, actually, I don't think Sitaska can actually do that much here. She will be able to take out a few Zealots eventually, but these 2 Hydras and the rest of the Hydras that were actually here in order to attack that 3rd are forfeit. Actually get away. So, quite nice for her. And yeah, okay, now of course, after that engagement, it's quite okay for Lady Azylis to expand. No problem, she should be able to hold this 3rd fairly easily, but yeah, I think she could have actually killed her opponent had she gone for a second all-in. That's what Koshki does most of the time, using this push. Or when she was using this push. And it worked fairly well, we have to say. So in the meantime, do we finally have an Overseer here? I really wonder. I think Sitaska actually never realized that Dark Templars were in the play. There's no Overseer whatsoever. Ooh, I think Lady Azylis will be really disappointed when she sees this replay casted, since she will then realize that he could have just easily warped in more DTs, crushing her opponent, who had no detection whatsoever. So, another push incoming. Where's the Warp Prism, I really wonder? Seems as if she wants to attack from 2 different sides here, harassing that 4th base while attacking into the 3rd with only a few Hydras. But Hydras shoot fairly quickly, they dish out a lot of damage if you cannot get close to them. But of course that's what these Zealots are there for. So, might actually be able to get something done here. Yes, These units over here are dead, but of course the Hydras are now totally out of position. And with all of these powerful units just focus firing down the hatchery, if she does, she could just easily take it out. But unfortunately, a lot of these Zealots run straight into the Hydralisk army, is not really microing the units to their fullest potential. Got the 4th base over here, but might actually, lose all of her units in this engagement. No, should have really retreated a lot earlier here, and I don't know. Okay, Sitaska just tries to save the base over here, gets all of her units to the 3rd base, does not want to lose this base over here as well, so she really has to get there. And yeah, these Zealots, instead of targeting down this hatchery here, just run straight into the Hydras with their charge, making it possible for these Immortals, at least, to get home safely. At least one of them. I think the other one was already produced and is now walking towards the 4th base on its own. Immortality really got to this Immortal's head. And he walks right into the army. Now Azylis realizes what has happened, tries to retreat it for just a second there, but it gets shot down nevertheless. So 3rd bait is up and fairly saturated, except for the gases here. But she has more than enough gas anyways. But yeah, I mean, Sitaska lost this base over here, but was capable of restoring this one over here. Unfortunately lost a lot of drones in the process, so she's down to 52 to the 65 of the Protoss. But if we see only a little bit more income for Protoss at that point in time. Storm being researched, and the attack into the 3rd with lurkers. We have no observer whatsoever, and I think that should be GG. Well, maybe not GG, but yeah, I think actually GG. I mean, she will not save this base. She does not have a 4th up. Her natural is dry, or almost dry. Her main must be dry as well at that point in time. And all of her units would actually die in a direct engagement. So yeah, she just retreats for now. Gets an observer at least, but now the only remaining unit left will be the observer. GG! And that is game. Sitaska takes the 2-0 lead. Welcome to Sequencer. The last, another new map of this season of StarCraft 2. And I was just going to say, the only thing we need right now to make a full triple is Azylis spawning as Terran. And she did. So here she is, fighting against her opponent Sitaska, the Yellow Zerg, who's only one map, no, sorry, that was the wrong one, who's only one map away from taking the whole series. Can Lady Azylis turn it around? Or will Sitaska prevail with a flawless 3-0? Oh lord, moving across the map, this is a huge-ass map. My god, it looks interesting on the minimap. A little bit confusing actually with all of these highlighted parts of the map. There's a lot of black and then you have a lot of highlighted grey parts that eventually turn into white. So, fairly interesting. Actually, the natural base is... it looks as if it is a little bit away. But yeah, there's the ramp, and then you have like wide open space, like crazy in front of it. So this actually will be fairly difficult to defend for other players than Zerg, since Zerg has to deal with open spaces anyways. They can't really wall off on a lot of maps. Well, later on, once the creep has been spread, but early on there's no walling off whatsoever. Terran, for example, has to wall off on top of the ramp. And yeah, I mean, there's actually no real walling off. I mean, you can wall off this segment here with the rocks. And then it seems... okay, and there are rocks as well, so yeah, okay, never mind, there's the entrance. You can seal this off, but you still need quite a nice amount of buildings here. And of course, these rocks can be taken down later on. So yeah, no wall that will hold anything back forever. If you want to take this fairly easily holdable third, then of course you will have to wall off this section later on. So, possibilities for macro play, but a little bit more difficult than on all the other bases and then all the other maps, I think. I'm not quite certain, have to play it myself a little bit more in order to be fairly certain. So, what can we see? Where's the production tab? We have a factory incoming, so good 1-1-1, it seems, for Lady Azylis. No, actually, whoa, is she? Ooh, is she going into Mac? That's actually looking quite interestingly. Or she just wants to go for some Hellbat-based push. But we'll see. There is an armory incoming, so yeah. I'd actually go with a Hellbat push. A Hellbat timing here. Let's see if it's going to work out. Third base being taken by Sitaska in the meantime. She's only producing a few queens and mostly drones. Has the spawning pool, but speed has not been done yet and is not even in production. Interesting there. Overlord has already arrived at her opponent's base. It's only a two-player map, so no problem to find the opponent on this map. But it's a long way for an Overlord to fly. Yeah, and there we have it. What did the Overlord see, actually? Did see the first factory here, so we'll probably expect a few Hellions, but not the big amount of Hellion Cyclone, actually. Nice. Probably with, like I said, a Hellbats in front of them, so the Hellbats will tank a lot of damage while the Cyclones will deal a lot of damage. Cyclones actually pretty good against Roaches and Ravagers as well, while the Hellions, or Hellbats, once they morphed, are pretty good against Lings and Banelings. So if Sitaska only wants to defend this with pure Ling Roach, it can potentially be a little bit difficult. It's mostly down to micro, and if Sitaska will be able to attack the right units with her own units, and if Lady Azylis just leaves some units behind, that would also be pretty catastrophic. But there they come. So nice little push out here. We have a lot of Hellions. Does she know about this? I think she should have seen everything with that Overlord moving out, so she knows that something is headed her way. So let's see how she actually wants to defend this. Is morphing for Ravagers as we speak, producing 4 more Roaches. And yeah, I think Roach Ravager is actually a quite nice composition here, especially with all the queens. I would actually produce a few more queens as well if I was her, but she already has 3 out. Is that the inject queen from up here? No. So she has 4 queens, 1 is injecting, 3 of them can fight in front. And here they come, Hellbats being morphed, and now they walk in. Yeah, unfortunately, that's actually not the fight she wants to take over here. The Cyclones would need to focus fire down the Ravagers, while the Hellbats would need to focus fire down the rest of the Lings and take them out. But that fight didn't work at all for Lady Azylis the way she wanted it to go. Actually, a little few units here around, only the 2 Cyclones with like 4 Hellbats. The Hellbats just tanking a little bit of damage, but not all too much, then, since they were just too many Roaches there, and then the Cyclones couldn't really dish out their damage from behind. Not really looking at her units there for a moment, taking a little bit of damage, but not losing any of these units. More and more Cyclones moving in, now being produced out of these both factories. And, okay, getting cornered and taken out eventually, it seems, but there you just can't see the big DPS and the slow DPS of these Ravagers. Nice little micro there by Sitaska, but eventually the Ravagers, the Cyclones prevail, just barely not. Okay, there's one little Roach is the hero of the force, but more and more Cyclones moving across the map, so more Cyclones. Lady Azylis trying to take a base behind it, but the supplies are not looking in her favor. If she does not manage to deal significant damage within the next few seconds, or maybe the next minute, I think this game will be done for her. Sitaska, now going back into droning, has realized that she will have enough defenses up in order to take a next push, has a few more Ravagers around, a few more Roaches, and all of the Queens in position after realizing that more and more units were moving towards her base, has not realized yet that most of these units are already back. So she just stands up here in order to intercept units that would like to come up that ramp, is trying to get more creep spread out, nicely done there, and also has good vision over the rest of the map, also has something in position just in case drops were headed towards her base. Would really like a few more Zerglings taking these watchtowers here and maybe getting a good spread like in the first game, or the second game, but never mind. Oh, that just reminds me that I actually wanted to have another look at the second game where the awesome link spread came. So now moving out, Sitaska wants to get a little bit aggressive, feels that she's actually dealt enough damage in the early game that she will be able to accomplish something by walking straight up to Lady Azylis' natural base that has not even been fully saturated by now. Only 3 workers there, 19 workers, a little bit oversaturated here in the main base, but 3 factories worth of production. Avalo would be so proud. Well, there's no tanks in here, so Avalo would probably not be that proud. Like 3 tanks would actually just hold this off fairly easily there, but 4 might also help. Has to be careful now not to walk into those biles. Unfortunately gets hit by almost all of them, but now the enormous DPS of the Cyclones might actually just clear this off fairly easily, especially with the help of a Thor right behind it. So Sitaska has to retreat, unfortunately not really getting that much value out of her units. Couldn't really get into the production or into the worker line of her opponent. Was just... I mean, it's still a little victory here, because right now Sitaska is having the way better economy. So she can just afford trading units while maybe taking a 4th right behind it, which I would actually like to see fairly soon, and there it goes down. So with a 4th base incoming, she can actually just afford trading a few units, 4 units, because Lady Azylis will then just have to replace all of these very expensive techie or tech-heavy units that can actually be repaired, but unfortunately Lady Azylis is not doing that. I'd really love to see like 2 SCVs getting pulled from the mineral line trying to repair all of these units, because they are very, very low on health, and it would just make so much more difference with Cyclones having 180 HP. Nice little move there by Sitaska, getting the Changeling in the mix, seeing that, with a good timing here, seeing that the units are moving towards her base, brings her Ravagers and Roaches in position to intercept the units there. Okay, Thor just trying to take out that Overlord. Thor is here! And yeah, I would just love seeing these getting repaired. I mean, this attack would even be so much better. I mean, it's still a fairly small push. Okay, more Changelings here. I love this by Sitaska, just getting all the information. Could even use those to block the units a little bit here. And now the rest of the units getting in. Does she want to break through this debris over here? I don't think so. But there the army moves in. Oh, the Thor's totally unprotected here. Get taken out by all of these army forces before they can even deal the damage. Yeah, and right now, as I said, these Cyclones on almost no health whatsoever get taken out immediately. And now look at the supply, Calaris. We have 148 and a supply block to 73. So Sitaska doubling her opponent's supply. Lady Azylis in the meantime had the chance to take a 3rd base right behind it, but Sitaska knows about it, knows that if you just build a 3rd base and you've just lost most of your standing forces to my attack, there can't be that much at home to defend. So I will just come and try to take you out. Actually opening up another attack path here. Don't really know what it's going to be good for, but why not? Just maybe wants to evade possible scouting units so that the attack will just hit. Yeah, actually, I like this a lot. She's just using the changelings here for scouting purposes. So that's like the one marine that a Terran would send forward in order to have a look at the situation. But with the help of these changelings, she now knows that there is not much. One tank alone will deal a little bit of damage, but not enough. Sitaska streams into the natural base. There is nothing left to defend. The rest of the Terran forces are going to fall as they spawn. Natural goes down. More Hellbats go down. GG well played. And Sitaska takes the series 3-0.